Case Study 3. Stoner's Pizza Joint, Jacksonville Fast Market Entry. Through second-generation conversion listing 244-107. Pizza Restaurant Asset Sale, rebranded and reopened. The challenge franchise ownership can be an effective way to build a restaurant business, but it is not always a permanent fit. Life circumstances change, and what once aligned with personal goals can shift quickly. The seller of this Jacksonville Stoner's Pizza Joint lived out of state and operated the business as an absentee owner. While absentee ownership can succeed with strong systems and staff, it requires constant oversight and limits flexibility. This location was performing solidly. The 1,160 square foot footprint was optimized for delivery and pickup. Rent was exceptionally low at just over $2,200 per month, and the franchise benefited from a recognizable brand and a favorable 4% royalty structure. Equipment was in place, the operation was staffed, and customer awareness already existed. The decision to sell was not driven by business performance. It was driven by shifting family priorities that required the seller's time and presence elsewhere. Continuing to manage an out-of-state restaurant no longer fit this season of life. The goal became a clean and efficient exit that allowed full focus on family. The challenge was speed. The seller needed to exit quickly while still attracting buyers who could recognize the underlying opportunity beyond the franchise brand itself. This was not just a franchise resale. It was a turnkey delivery and pickup operation with low overhead, solid infrastructure, and the flexibility to rebrand. The property. The space was purpose-built for efficiency. At 1,160 square feet, the layout supported high-volume delivery and pickup with streamlined kitchen flow, adequate prep space, and minimal dine-in seating. The design kept labor and operating costs low while maximizing throughput. All major equipment was in place and well-maintained. Delivery systems were already integrated. Customers were familiar with the location, and traffic patterns were established. With rent just over $2,200 per month, unit economics were exceptionally attractive for a pizza operation. Importantly, the seller positioned the deal as a keep-or-convert opportunity. Buyers could continue operating under the Stoner's Pizza Joint franchise or convert the space to their own concept. That flexibility expanded the buyer pool and attracted experienced operators who wanted control without the cost and delay of a ground-up build. For the right buyer, this was speed to market without six figures in build-out costs or months of permitting. The infrastructure existed, the equipment existed, the location worked. What it needed was a clear vision and capable execution. The solution. Nick and his wife, based in Chicago, had been planning a move to Jacksonville for months. They had restaurant experience and a clear concept for a Chicago-style pizza brand. What they did not want was a six-figure build-out and a 6 to 12-month opening timeline. They wanted controlled overhead, immediate operational readiness, and the freedom to launch their own brand. When they found the Stoner's Pizza Joint listing, the opportunity was obvious. The layout fit their delivery-forward model. The equipment supported their production needs. The rent allowed flexibility during rebranding. The existing staff could be retained and retrained. Most importantly, the seller's willingness to structure the transaction as an asset sale gave them full creative and operational control. The transaction moved quickly. The seller was focused on divesting assets and lease rights rather than extensive financial disclosure. The buyers were focused on the physical operation and speed to market rather than historical performance. Expectations were aligned on both sides. The seller exited an obligation that no longer fit their life. The buyers acquired a ready-made platform to launch their own concept with minimal capital outlay and maximum speed. The outcome: within weeks of closing, Nick and his wife began remodeling with a projected 4 to 6 week timeline to reopen. The focus was practical rather than cosmetic. New signage, branding, menu boards, and recipe implementation were prioritized. Existing kitchen equipment was reconfigured rather than replaced. Delivery systems were already live and integrated with major platforms. The location retained customer awareness and traffic patterns that could be redirected to the new brand. Rather than waiting months to open, the buyers could begin generating revenue while competitors were still in permitting. The seller achieved a clean break from franchise obligations and operational responsibility, allowing full focus on family. The buyers gained exactly what they wanted: fast market entry, full brand control, and a clear growth path without the risk and cost of building from scratch. Key insight: second-generation restaurant spaces offer one of the strongest advantages for experienced operators who value speed, efficiency, and capital preservation. When life priorities shift or entrepreneurial vision outgrows franchise constraints, a properly structured asset sale can serve both sides well. Buyers who focus on infrastructure and location, rather than existing branding, gain a powerful competitive edge. Frequently asked questions about second-generation restaurant conversions. Can I sell a franchise restaurant to a buyer who wants to rebrand? Yes, depending on franchise agreement terms. Many owners exit by terminating the franchise relationship and selling assets and lease rights. This requires careful review of notice periods, termination obligations, and debranding requirements. Legal guidance is essential to avoid ongoing liability. What is a second-generation restaurant space? A second-generation space is a location previously operated as a restaurant that retains permitted infrastructure such as hood systems, grease traps, sinks, and electrical capacity. This can save $150,000 or more in build-out costs and reduce opening timelines from months to weeks. How fast can you open in an existing restaurant space? Experienced operators can open in 4 to 8 weeks, depending on concept changes, permitting, staffing, and equipment needs. Light conversions move fastest. Ground-up builds typically require 6 to 12 months. Is it better to buy a franchise or convert an existing restaurant? Franchises offer structure, training, and brand recognition, which benefits newer operators. Conversions offer full control, eliminate royalties, and allow rapid adaptation. Experienced operators often prefer conversion for economics and flexibility. How do restaurant asset sales work? In asset sales, buyers purchase equipment, fixtures, and lease rights without acquiring the seller's legal entity. This protects buyers from prior liabilities and often allows faster closing. Price allocation matters for tax purposes and should be structured with professional guidance. Do I need restaurant experience to buy a second-generation space? Experience is not legally required, but strongly impacts success. Infrastructure does not replace operational skill. Margins are thin, staffing is demanding, and mistakes are costly. Buyers in this transaction succeeded because they understood restaurant operations and had a clear execution plan. What does it cost to convert a restaurant to a new concept? Light conversions often range from $15,000 to $40,000. Moderate conversions can reach $100,000. Heavy conversions approach ground-up costs. The Stoner's conversion was on the lighter end, delivering major savings compared to a new build.